Right then, how are we? Good afternoon, world. How the devil are we? So we're down here in the assembly area just before the second race of Saturday, and a quick update on what's going on in the paddock. So you saw in the previous race we had 3 trucks leave the race before they were meant to. Dave Jenkins, of course, will be joining us, having repaired some front end damage during the lunch break. Ryan Smith, however, is not as well off, bringing up the second place for the worst damage, meaning he won't be out until tomorrow now, hopefully having swapped his engine overnight. He apparently dropped a piston or had seal issues, which means he'll be swapping his lump out tonight. And then Paul Rivette. Oh my goodness, Paul Rivette. So he has obliterated his engine, unfortunately, possibly snapping a drive shaft, and that, of course, is not good for the truck. He might not even be back with us until Brands Hatch, which means he'll be missing Le Mans, and he's extremely sad about that. So there's your update. That's who's missing. That's what's happened. Now let's go and have a quick chat to some people who are still racing this afternoon. First of all, let's have a quick chat then, if we can, with Mr. John Bowler. Now, John, first of all, if you lean forward a bit, we got you in third place overall for the first race of the weekend. We didn't get a chance to talk to you, but tell us what that race was like, because you saw some pretty good sights before Michael obviously managed to nip past you there in that last couple of laps. What was that race like for you earlier?
The race was really good, competitive. There's just an element of understeer and just struggling with traction. We were seeing a few of the others, but the way Michael came round us on the into the last corner was a great move, and a great move on Steve. But they just had a lot more traction where we were struggling. But that's racing for you.
I mean, you want a bit of inside knowledge. Michael doesn't know where the traction's coming from either, so he's just as surprised as you are.
He generally only knows where the black stuff is when I remind him.
Oh, well, we're not going to start throwing stones in glass houses, are we, John? My goodness me. So obviously high hopes for the next race. Where are you starting on this grid?
We're starting in 4th position. So we finished P5 in qualifying, so we'd be, obviously, I think Ryan's having issues, so he's not in, so moved everyone up a pace. So just made some changes, see how the truck goes, and fingers crossed we end up on the podium again. 4th place, and then of course into the reverse grid tomorrow. Do you like the reverse grid? Because obviously everyone's got their own thoughts on it. What do you think? Yeah, I personally like the reverse grid. There's quite a small field this year, so I think it's good to sort of negotiate through the paddock, and with the Division 2s being mixed in, it makes things really interesting.
Right, well, we'll leave you to it. Good luck for race 2. Let's keep it interesting now. Hopefully, of course, doesn't want to be letting him next again. So I think that's all we've got time for down here in the assembly area. You've been updated. It's time to go racing. Over to you, Dave.
Thanks very much, Pointy. Well, big news after our first race. No Ryan Smith and no Paul Rivette, both our championship favourites, out of action. Of course, Paul Rivette was down in 3rd place anyway after missing a round early this season. Sounds like he'll be missing for the rest of this round and possibly Le Mans as well, which means, quite simply, he won't be winning this year's Division 2 title. So it's between Simon Cole and John Powell now for Division 2, if that's the case. Engine failure for Paul Rivette. Ryan Smith will have to replace his engine as well, so he misses our next race after that damage earlier on. Things not really going Ryan Smith's way this year. He's leading the championship, but he's had a few problems this year with the Daimler Freightliner, and will miss this next race. So an amended grid has been issued. This grid, we mentioned reverse grids there during the interviews. That's coming up tomorrow, the partially reverse grids. This grid is based on the second fastest lap time for each driver from qualifying. So it's 69 David Jenkins who is on the pole. He's back out, the damage only minor to his truck. Alongside him, number 3, Stephen Powell. Second row, number 7, Stuart Oliver, alongside 14, John Bowler. Third row, 86 of Tom O'Rourke, 11, David Smith. Fourth row, Neil Yates, alongside our Division 2 pace setter, John Powell. And back on row 5 will be our earlier winner, number 12, Michael Oliver, his second fastest lap, quite a long way behind his quickest. That's the lottery that this system of first and second fastest times can bring you on the grid. Simon Cole, number 41, completing the top 10, and Archie Handy, number 40, completing the 11 trucks on the grid. So Division 2, I would say, is now John Powell and Simon Cole contesting the championship. Paul Rivette, with, if he's not going to be out for the rest of this weekend and missing the round in France as well, that could well have written him out of championship contention. So it may be a slightly reduced field with a couple of leading players absent, but that's going to add to the drama potentially here for our next 15 minutes of racing. It's going to make it much more open, has to be said. Well, Ethan Dancer said in the YouTube comments he wants number 12 to win. That's Michael Oliver. He's back on the fifth row of the grid for this one, Michael Oliver. He won on the last bend earlier on, taking Stephen Powell into the very last corner in our 10-minute sprints. The race is about to get underway then. Here they come up to the line, the lights are already, and away we go with race number 2 this weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship, side by side between David Jenkins and Stephen Powell. There's contact and Powell spins. Round goes the number 3. He's off on the outside. Disaster for another leading player. The man who's third in the championship goes off. Let's hope he can rejoin. And it's going to be Stuart Oliver who takes the lead. Who's that coming up the outside? That's not Stephen Powell. It's a similarly coloured truck of Neil Yates. He got the hairpin right this time. And he's up into 4th place, I think. Let's hope Stephen Powell can get going again. Your leader is Stuart Oliver ahead of David Jenkins. Tom O'Rourke's up into 3rd place. Then Yates, Bowler. Not a good start for John Bowler. He's dropped back a bit. Well, it's all happening here at Snetterton. Simon Cole and sideways there in the background. He caught a glimpse of the bright pink and white machine. Into Agostini they go for the first time. Great to see O'Rourke up there in 3rd place. Yates under fire now. Look at Michael Oliver having a go up the outside. He'll be out onto the grass there. Kicks up the dust. He's got ahead of David Smith. He's going for John Bowler. But out in front it is Stuart Oliver, the number 7. The wily old fox himself. Michael Oliver's off again. Come on, this is truck racing, not auto grass. Michael Oliver challenging John Bowler. It's not the widest of circuits, Snetterton, for these trucks. Then again, no circuit is really wide when you're racing a 5-ton truck. Out onto the Bentley straight they go for the first time. Looks like it's John Powell leading Division 2. We're down to 3 trucks in Division 2 ahead of Simon Cole and Archie Handy. Neil Yates charging along ahead of John Bowler. This is the battle for 4th place. It's Stuart Oliver from David Jenkins. And look at this, you can't go 3 wide into Brundle in trucks, surely. Look at Michael Oliver at the inside. Something's got to give here, surely. Michael Oliver, he's got to back out of it. He's got to back out of it on the outside or they'll all be off. Yes, he thinks better of it. He didn't go side by side through Nelson with John Bowler. This is getting crazy, and this is just the first lap. Neil Yates behind them. There's David Smith in the number 11, returning this year after a long absence. John Powell behind them in the black truck. He's leading Division 2 ahead of Simon Cole. And behind them is young Archie Handy in the Volvo. Well, what a frantic first lap. Let's see if things calm down a little now. Stuart Oliver leads over the line. He's yet to win this year. His trusty Volvo wrecked at Thruxton. 2nd place is David Jenkins in the Digraph Transport Morris Lubricants MAN. Tom O'Rourke giving chase. Now Stephen Powell, I don't think has got going again. We'll wait and see if he does come through. Yes, he has now come through. He's at the back of the field. He's back with Archie Handy at the tail of the pack. So Stephen Powell has rejoined. It's good to see. There's still a great cloud of dust in the air where he went off on the first lap. But it is the number 7, Stuart Oliver, who sets the pace. Desperate to turn his, what's been a disastrous season for him, it has to be said, around. Can he do so in style with a victory? Archie Handy gets rather elbowed out of the way by a doubtlessly angry Stephen Powell there coming out of the hairpin. Here's Michael Oliver, still all over the back of John Bowler. This is for 4th place. And Bowler doesn't leave him any room at all there, coming off Agostini. Up towards Hamilton they come. Bowler a little bit sideways. Still your leader is Stuart Oliver from Jenkins and O'Rourke. Just had it come up on the timing screen. Incident involving trucks 3 and 69 will be investigated after the race. That was the incident on the first turn between Stephen Powell and David Jenkins. This is Jenkins' opportunity, if he can get ahead of Stuart Oliver, to try and close in on Ryan Smith's championship lead. And this could be Michael Oliver's opportunity. He's been throwing that truck around like a rally car today, the MAN. Here he comes, he's going to go for the inside. Look at Bowler weaving about to defend there. This is great stuff. Fight on for 4th place, up on the curb there, almost on the inside of Nelson. Saw a Mini do that a few years ago, and it nearly turned it over. Doubt you could turn a truck over getting up on that curb. That's not an invitation for these trucks to try, but Michael Oliver, well, you never know the way he's driving today. He's all over the place. Great cloud of dust once again. There's Neil Yates in P6, a better run for him. No, Tom O'Rourke's got a bit wide there, coming out of Murray's. Still your leader is Stuart Oliver from Hexham in Northumberland. He leads David Jenkins by just over 2 seconds. Jenkins from Stafford, Tom O'Rourke from Livingston in Scotland. That's Bowler, Oliver, there's Yates in 6th place, David Smith in 7th. Then a gap back to the Division 2 field. There is John Powell, number 6. Continues to lead Division 2, the man from Tonbridge, in the DAF LF, one of the older trucks in the championship. The only truck of a similar age we've seen in recent years is the Seth Atkinson, raced by gentleman Jim Bennett. We've not seen Jim in the championship this year, sadly, now in his 70s. It's the Midland Caliper Centre sponsored DAF that continues to lead Division 2, and this is ideal chance for him to try and close on Simon Cole in the points. Simon's still 2nd in the division. The gap is just over 3.5 seconds between the two of them at the line. And then further back, Archie Handy, who's lost out now, of course, to Stephen Powell, who's trying to make his way back up the order. That's easier said than done. It's caught Simon Cole. You can just see Stephen Powell there in the background, the white and red truck. Just under 9 minutes of the race to go. Fastest lap of the race by Stuart Oliver. 2:26.216. Not quite on the pace of the Peter Erscheg Audi R8. Here comes Stephen Powell. Up the inside, takes Simon Cole. Simon won't mind about that because that's a Division 1 truck. Simon will be concerned with trying to catch John Powell. He wants his first win of the season. Just over 2 seconds in it for the lead between Stuart Oliver and David Jenkins. Stuart desperate for his first win of this season. Best he's had is a 2nd at Brands Hatch and a 2nd at Donington Park. I can't remember the last time we had a season where Stuart Oliver didn't win a British truck race. His first championship came in 1999. He was unbeaten through till 2004. Then from 2007 to 2010, 4 more titles. Over the line he goes. Jenkins in 2nd place. 3.2 seconds now the gap because new fastest lap for the race leader, 2:25.646. Side by side over the line. That's Neil Yates and David Smith. David Smith up the inside into Riches, and he's taken P6 away from Neil Yates. Neil Yates, long-time associate of and sponsor of Stephen Powell. First stepped into a race truck last season with a bit of a baptism of fire. He had a big accident at Thruxton in only his second meeting. Well, David Smith making his return for the first time in many seasons in his MAN TGX. 2012 Division 2 champion. The best finish he's had this year in race 4 at Brands Hatch, he was 4th. Six and a half minutes to go now. Things have calmed down slightly, I think. Yes, Michael Oliver's dropped back a bit from John Bowler. We just see them in the distance there going around Hamilton's. So, whoops. Neil Yates puts a wheel onto the grass and flicks sideways. Well, there is Michael Oliver, and in a, it has to be said, a rather typical pose with a bit of a chunk bitten out of the front of his truck. Hope that doesn't start dragging on his tyre. Yeah, a little bit of smoke from the GT tyre there, or that might be a bit of steam from the water-cooled brakes. Now, if you are new to truck racing, these trucks are electronically limited. Road-going trucks limited, of course, to 56 miles per hour. Race trucks are limited to 100 miles an hour. This has been a feature of truck racing since it began back in the 80s in Britain. It was the famous Lucas company in Birmingham who originally fitted and calibrated the speed limiters. Tom O'Rourke is catching David Jenkins, possibly for second place. There's John Powell continuing to lead Division 2. And yes, O'Rourke has just done a personal best, 2:26.4, closed by nearly 3/4 of a second on David Jenkins. Now, yes, Tom O'Rourke is going for it, looking for his first podium of the season. His only win came at Donington 2 years ago. And look at David Jenkins lifting a wheel there. Three-wheeling it like a hatchback round the hairpin. I've not seen David Jenkins' truck do that before. I suppose you could say four-wheeling it because they have double rear wheels, these trucks. Yeah, but Jenkins does seem to be having some handling issues, maybe as a result of that bit of contact with Stephen Powell on the first corner. I wondered if he had a left front tyre going down slightly. That's why he lifted the wheel there on the other side. But O'Rourke is definitely catching him in that International Navistar, the Freuhauf Trailers and MV Commercial, number 86. This is allowing Stuart Oliver to pull away. Stephen Powell has got past John Powell now, I can tell you, into P8 as well, as he tries to recover from that spin on the first corner. The lead is up to 4.7 seconds now for Stuart Oliver, the 60-year-old. Driving like he's half his age here today. He's flying along. Was leading at the time of the stoppage in race 1. Son Michael it was who took the win on that occasion. Here comes Michael. Started further back on the grid this time, but he's fighting his way through, and he's having a go at John Bowler again. This time he gets alongside him a bit earlier down the Bentley straight, but no, the number 14 truck stays ahead. Into Brundle, up towards Nelson. And down to the bomb hole. Three minutes to go. I know the races don't seem too long at times. Something flew off Michael Oliver's truck there. Another bit of bodywork goes flying. Souvenir for our marshals. Doesn't seem like many laps here at Snetterton. Remember, it's a long lap on the 300 circuit. Stuart Oliver away and gone, 4.7 seconds. Yeah, 4.67 now, so the gap has stabilised. What about O'Rourke on the back of... no, he's dropped back a bit from Jenkins now. 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, I presume, and guess who's picked that up? You can probably tell from the way he was driving early in the race. Yes, it's Michael Oliver. Jenkins three-wheels it again. So Michael Oliver has got a 5-second penalty, unfortunately. His He is quite a way clear of David Smith, so he should be okay, I think. Somebody else kicking up some dust in the background there. Stuart Oliver continues to lead. Is it going to be a family double? Is Stuart going to finally get his first win of the 2024 season? O'Rourke trying to close up again. Is he going to get his first podium of the 2024 season? Not seeing the 86 on the podium. My apologies, his second podium, sorry, of the 2024 season. He was third in race 5 at Thruxton, my apologies. So Tom O'Rourke on to equal his best result of the season, unless he can get past David Jenkins for P2. Down the Bentley straight goes the number 7, Stuart Oliver. John Powell still leads Division 2 by 5.5 seconds over Simon Cole. And now Michael Oliver's going to have another go at John Bowler for 4th. But if he does get ahead of John Bowler, now he's got that 5-second penalty. He's got to get more than 5 seconds clear of him. And with only 50 seconds left on the clock, I don't think he's going to do that unless John Bowler was to go off. A little bit of understeer there for Bowler, but he makes it round Nelson. Leaders coming up to start their last lap. It's looking good for Stuart Oliver. It's going to be 2 out of 2 for Team Oliver today. Meantime, there's Archie Handy. We've not seen much of the youngster in his Volvo. Got to be one of the youngest British truck racers of all time. He's at the tail of the field, 3rd in Division 2. And we're just getting notification as well. Tom O'Rourke has also got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. And so if John Bowler gets any closer to him, we'll see O'Rourke off the podium, and Stuart Oliver's three-wheeling it round now. Certainly throwing it round that hairpin. So O'Rourke, yeah, 5.5 seconds clear at the line of John Bowler. So if Bowler gets any closer, he could get himself a podium because O'Rourke's going to pick up a 5-second penalty. What's the best finish that John Bowler has had this year? Yeah, he had a couple of podiums at Thruxton, circuit where he's always shone, down in Hampshire. Stuart Oliver's going to take the win, barring any mechanical problem. As Michael Oliver, thought he was going to clip the back of John Bowler there as he ran wide. Goes wide again, flings the truck sideways. 5.5 seconds the lead now over David Jenkins. This is all playing into the hands of David Jenkins, with Ryan Smith not out there repairing damage from earlier on. Here he comes in the GT tyres, Tahuna Honey MAN, built to replace his damaged Volvo VNL, the familiar bonneted Volvo, after that crash at Thruxton. Here he comes at long last. He's going to take a long overdue first win of 2024, the 10 times British, 1-time European champion. Made the start as David Jenkins and Stephen Powell tangled on the first corner. Comes into Murray's for the final time. And he's going to be back to winning ways. The most successful British truck racer of all time is at last a winner in 2024 at long last. Stuart Oliver takes his first win of the season. It's a double for Team Oliver, with Michael having won race 1. David Jenkins comes over in second. Tom O'Rourke crosses the line third, but he may have that penalty over John Bowler. Bowler comes over in fourth. He's not quite close enough, so O'Rourke will retain third place. Less than a second ahead of John Bowler with the penalty applied. Michael Oliver crosses the line fifth. I think he's going to be safely clear of David Smith. David Smith comes over in sixth position. Yes, so Michael Oliver does take the fifth place despite that penalty. David Smith sixth. Stephen Powell back to seventh after his spin on the first corner, fighting back for 7th place. Neil Yates is 8th, and then we will have the Division 2 trucks, and here comes John Powell in truck number 6, and he will know that Paul Rivett is out of action for the rest of the weekend. This is his chance to try and close in on Simon Cole at the top of the points. Over the line goes John Powell, sorry. Simon Cole, there's the pink and white machine. Powell wins Division 2, a minute behind our race winner Stuart Oliver. 7.5 seconds clear of Simon Cole. And here comes Archie Handy at the back of the field in the ex-Paul McCuskey Volvo. Great to have young Archie out there. It doesn't seem 5 minutes since he was in junior saloon cars in his Citroen Saxo. Now he's handling this huge beast. A braver man than me, certainly. Breaking, I think, Bradley Smith's record from last season as the youngest British Truck Racing Championship driver. Throws it through the last corner to a big round of applause from the crowd. It's great to have young Archie out there. Far from making up the numbers in Division 2. I'm sure his first win is not far away. Across the line he comes to complete the finishers. Provisional result then as follows. The win goes to Stuart Oliver by just under 6 seconds ahead of David Jenkins. Closes the gap on Ryan Smith in the points. Tom O'Rourke in 3rd place, despite that 5-second penalty, just ahead of John Bowler. Michael Oliver, despite his penalty, takes 5th ahead of David Smith. Just had a notification on the timing screen, driver of truck 12 to report to the clerk of the course. So Michael Oliver has transgressed in some way. David Smith 6th ahead of Stephen Powell and Neil Yates. John Powell wins Division 2 in 9th ahead of Simon Cole. Archie Handy, of course, Paul Rivett, we've heard, is out of the weekend with engine damage. Ryan Smith also a non-starter. Hopefully he'll be back out tomorrow, though, repairing his damage from that incident in race 1. Let's head down to Pointy in Parc Ferme.
Wow, 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 look at this. Oliver, do we want to jump around a bit? There we go.
I'm too old to be jumping about.
Oh, well, what a result. Fantastic race there. Obviously, you know, I mean, we had a few penalties further back in the pack, but you look like you had clean air and a bit of a gentle drive.
Yeah, it's Saturday, isn't it? I was going to say a Sunday stroll, but no, it's Saturday. But
I believe you got the fastest lap as well.
Oh, that's good. I saw it was pinging up, getting fast. I was getting faster and faster as the race was going on. Oh, this is all right, but yeah, you know, I don't know what happened. Obviously, I was started 3rd, and Dave and Steve had a bit of a coming together, and you know, you win some, you lose some, and I just happened to win there, so it was great.
That was great to see, and Dave as well. Come on in here, fantastic race from you as well. Glad to see you back on the circuit. More importantly,
yeah, no, we obviously went off on Ryan's oil earlier, and team worked quite hard, well, very hard. Sorted the steering issues out, but we've got a broken shock absorber on the front, so I've just got no pace, got terrible understeer.
Still going home with a trophy tonight, though, and that's what's good for you.
Listen, all fair play to everybody around us, and Stuart's done a great job there, and let's see what tomorrow brings.
Indeed, and Stuart, fingers crossed, no major issues for you tonight. Watch the trucks and have an early dinner, can we?
Yeah, watch the trucks, early dinner, and I wish, but I'm sure there'll be things to do. But yeah, but we're certainly going in the right direction. It's a new machine to the team, and you know, worked hard since before Donington to get it right, and Donington will learn a lot, and then we've put it in place here, and step by step we're going forward.
Well, it's been a fantastic start to the weekend for Team GT. Thank you very much for talking to us, Dave. Fantastic result. Congratulations to the team, of course. And again, another phenomenal result for John Powell as well. Where's he? Is he about? Tom O'Rourke, actually. Tom O'Rourke, come here, sir. How are you?
Good, great.
Point, I tell you what, now you had a track limits penalty, 5 seconds.
I did.
John Bowler, 4th place behind you, was 5.3 at one point behind you,
yes.
Finished at 5.9 behind you, so you're beating by 0.9 of a second, even with the penalty.
Yeah, no, I know.
Are you happy?
I'm delighted. The truck's coming together. The handling's good. I can get out the corners. I've always had that problem. but we're really getting there. It's coming together. I'm
It's
chuffed
great
with
to
it.
see. The pace was there.
It was
I mean,
good.
you were
Yeah,
keeping
yeah,
up
yeah.
there, definitely.
I was.
Defensive driving.
I thought I could have maybe nailed Jenkins towards the end there, you know, but I thought.
I don't think Jenkins would have liked that.
No, no, it was really good. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
No,
It's great to
thoroughly
see him
enjoyed
up
it,
there. And a trophy.
Yeah, well, no, we've not had many this year.
Oh,
so-
well, half an hour to come and get it off the podium, okay?
Fantastic.
Phenomenal. Well done, Tom. Very good job. Lovely bloke, Tom. Never shy or short of a story, our Tom O'Rourke. Quick word with John Powell then. Just to say another congratulations, basically. I mean, this is what we want to see, isn't it?
Well, it's nice, but it'd be nice with a few more trucks and a bit of a race. But you know, at the end of the day, to be fair, we've been doing it lots and lots of years, and you know, maintenance-wise and everything else, it all costs money.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like it's. You know, you can race with anybody, but if you haven't got the money to do it, you can't do it.
No,
you know?
indeed
So
not.
simple as that.
Looking
really.
at the
And
bigger
I don't
picture.
mean that in a
No.
rude way,
So of course,
but,
yeah.
You know, so.
But looking at the Division 2 bigger picture now, obviously coming into the weekend, Simon Cole leading the championship. You've had two great results now. Do you know where that's going to put you around him? Or
I think it's about 3 points, with, so it's 3 points extra for first.
Right.
And the fastest lap. So that's where we got to try and
you'll
go.
soon start clawing it back.
Well, yeah, we haven't got top gear anyway, so.
You don't need Top Gear. Top Gear's finished, mate. We all know that.